Hello and welcome to another Arkeys video and to a new 2 million credit time trial challenge on Gran Turismo 7. This time we are at RedbullRing and we are in the newly added 2006 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 9 MRGSR. And we are on the sports hard tires. This video is out a day later than normal because yesterday I found it much more important to do a video on the newly added Renault 4. But on the other hand, that gave me a chance to go into this one a bit more prepared and not totally blind. I've watched 3 different lap guide videos and I think we are ready to dive into this one. Before we do that, if you are enjoying the content, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. It is highly appreciated. Now let's get started. This is exactly 24 hours after this time trial opened. I've already picked up my prize for the previous time trial as I was in looking at a leaderboard goals for the new time trial. And now we are jumping into my first lap. And let's have a look at some brake markers. The first one is one Titsny pointed out. Very useful. You've got this small white part of the barrier and you've got the 100 board as well. Especially the one on the barrier is very useful for braking for turn 1. And we are coming into the following corner. I'm just listening for the sector time beep. That's easier for me to just listen and brake than trying to look for something that doesn't really work. Now we are coming down the hill and this is one of Titsny's markers as well. That gravel banking part number 2 after the 150 board. Perfect marker for this corner. And there are several of those gravel banking stripes so you can use them on other time trials or in other cars as well. Here we are looking at the 50 board coming into this corner and just as usual ignore my driving on this first lap. We are just looking at the brake markers. Now we are coming towards where the short layout enters the track and that's the brake marker for that corner. I didn't get an arrow on that one and now we are just trying to get our way through the S's and we are coming up towards the 100 board, which you brake directly dead on the 100 board. We've got it right here and we are on the brakes staying in 4th gear, and we've also got sort of the end of the Austrian flag. You have to brake a bit earlier than you would in a race car, but that's the marker to look for. We are sliding around the corner. You see I'm struggling to keep the car on the track, but we are going across the line in a 1:47.9 and we just keep going. We are coming up towards turn 1 again, looking for the white barrier part on the right hand side, getting through turn 1, staying in 4th gear, and you have to really rev this out. I'm upshifting at 174-75 kilometers per hour, now making our way around the hairpin, also known as turn 3, and here you want to shift at 133, maximum 34 kilometers per hour. I shifted a bit early there. We are coming around the corner at the bottom of the hill and let's see, can we make our way around these corners? This is where the car usually goes a bit wobbly for me. Really have to learn to keep the car balanced, but we are up on our previous time at least, making our way through the S's, just trying to get a good line so we can stay on the power, and we're coming towards the 100 board, braking at the 100 board, and now for the final corner. Let's see, can I get a better exit than I did on my first lap? Still sliding a bit deep, but certainly better than my first attempt, and we are going across the line in a 1:46.961. And I try to continue, but this time I am going to turn in a bit too early, so I am going to cut the inside, and we are bailing out of this one. So we've done 2 laps. We are just within the top 2% at the moment, and that just shows the benefit of coming in prepared, having watched lap guides. And shout out to Key25, Titsny and Mr. MCA who provided brilliant lap guides for this challenge as usual. We are on our following lap making our way around turn 3, the hairpin, and I lost a lot of time in those 2 first corners alone, and also here I'm not really getting the line right. You can see I had to lift off when I wanted to be on full throttle, and only improving a slight bit. I try to keep going, and I also get a better run out of turn 1, but unfortunately I am going to make a mess of the hairpin and just bounce off the track. So we are trying again. We are coming around turn 1, a bit awkward line out of there, almost picked up a penalty, but we survived. Now coming through the hairpin, and by the way, this is really a party trick of this car. It can really get so early on the power, and the four-wheel drive will just pull you out of there. Now coming down the hill, using a bit of second gear to get the car rotated back up to third gear, and powering out of there. Now we've got this tricky corner where the car tends to go a bit wobbly for me. This time we managed to keep the car sort of in check, and now we're coming down towards the following corner, braking just at the start of where the short layout enters this track, and just trying to pick a good line through here. Once the car goes a bit sideways, you can usually stabilize it by adding a little bit of throttle, unless you are going too fast, of course, then you are just in trouble. Now through the final corners, and let's get across the line. I cannot remember what time this is, but we get a decent run out of the final corner. At least this is going to be a 1:46.418. Then I mess up the hairpin and I'm just bailing this lap. Let's go and have a look. So now we've done 20 minutes roughly, and then I got stuck for a while. So after having tested almost every possible track limit penalty on this track, we have jumped ahead half an hour in time, and we are finally on a lap with an improvement. I didn't get the best run out of turn 1. Now we are coming up towards the hairpin. Let's get the car slowed down to second gear, back up to third before the apex, and just get on the power, get that turbo boost working. And I accidentally just touched the limiter there, so I lost some time now through the right-hander at the bottom of the hill. Keep the car steady, back onto the power, and coming into the left-hander. I could use a more track on the right-hand side coming into the corner. The car also goes a bit wobbly on me, so that certainly wasn't the best. And I also turned in too early here. You can see I had to really adjust the line and get off the throttle, and losing some time compared to the Ghost there. Now the two final corners, just keep the car nice and steady. And how are we managing the final corner? Not exactly the best, but yeah, let's see. We're going across the line, and if I remember correctly, this is 1:46.333, and in my eager to do even better, I completely mess up turn 1. So we are jumping out, and as you can see, we've only got 10 minutes left of our first hour on this one. So we are back in. We are coming into turn 1. Can we get a good run out of here? You can see this is actually lap number 2 after almost matching my time. So we've got a good indicator on the delta there. The hairpin isn't my best attempt either. A bit late on the throttle. You can see the Ghost is pulling away, and I clipped the limiter once again. That's also going to cost me some time. Now I am really down on my time coming into this corner. This lap is actually slowly falling apart, and now we are coming down towards the left-hander, and I turn in too early, and then I run wide on the exit. You can see I had to really slow down to stay on the track, so the lap is falling apart even more at this point. You can see I'm down on my time, and this lap was almost completely gone. But as we go through the final corner, I am gaining it all back, and we are going to go across the line in a 1:46.269, and you can have a look at the optimum time. I'm really throwing away a lot of time, and just have a look at the optimum time this time as I lose the car in this corner. So now, as we are approaching the end of the first hour, I knew that I could get into the 1:45s, and I will get a cup of coffee, and then I will go for that 1:45 time. So we keep on going. This is another improvement lap. This is the penultimate lap of this video. We are coming into the hairpin. Let's get the car slowed down up to third gear before the apex. Let's build the turbo boost as early as possible and making our way around the right-hander here as well. And as we're coming into the following left-hander, I am using more of the track on the right-hand side, but the car still goes wobbly on me, and I need to work on that part. I managed to stay on the throttle all the way through the S's here, so we are not losing some time here at least. And now for the two final corners. All this coming downhill, you really need to be cautious on how fast you release the brake on the car, because if you release the brake too quickly, the car will really over-rotate. We are down to a 146.170, and we immediately get our following lap invalidated. So we are parking the car. We have not done that much driving since having our coffee break, and we are on to our final lap of this video and my best attempt so far. Coming into turn 1, up to fourth gear before the apex, as early on the power as possible, and upshifting right at 174.5 kilometers per hour. Really don't want to hit the limiter either. Now we are braking just as we hear the sector time beep, and getting the car all the way down to second gear, back up to third gear on the exit, trust the four-wheel drive system, and upshift at 133, maximum 34 miles an hour. Now looking for that gravel banking number 2 after the 150 board, down to third gear, a bit of second gear in fact, for the rotation, getting a decent exit there as well. And let's see, can I use some more of the track on the right hand side, and don't turn in too early, and be careful on how fast you release the brake so the car doesn't go all slidey on you. And the same goes for this corner. These road cars are really vulnerable coming downhill because you can really feel the weight transfer. Now we only got 2 corners to go. We are looking after the 100 board, braking dead on it, down to fourth gear, and just keep the car steady, let it coast a bit, adjust the car with a bit of throttle. And the final corner, we are going to go across the line, and this time it is going to be a 1:45.963, and I am going to park the car. I have driven, including the coffee break, 25 minutes past the first hour, so I am happy with my first run here. Now real life has decided for me that I'm not going to grind this over the weekend, so I'll just leave this for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, found it entertaining and maybe even somewhat useful. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye.